It's week 16 of the Premier League, and these matches were played on the 8th and the 9th, and one on Monday on the 10th. Let's get started then. Bournemouth at home to Liverpool, the early kickoff from the Vitality Stadium. Team news, well, Milner was making his 500th appearance in the Premier League. No mean feat. There was no Mane or Henderson, both on the bench. Of course, Liverpool without Gomez after that serious leg injury on Wednesday. Bournemouth without Wilson, he's out injured. Anyway, off we got, and the first 10 minutes neither keeper troubled. Keita was looking in good form in midfield for the Reds. After 12 minutes, a free kick from Shaqiri, the shot was blocked, but Liverpool were edging possession. On 19 minutes, a 30-yard pass from Shaqiri to Robertson overlapping on the left, and his cross was cleared frantically by the Bournemouth defence. A little later, a nice move by Bournemouth. Brooks with the final shot forced Alisson to push it wide of the post. On 25 minutes, Firmino's stat shot from distance caught Begovic a little bit off guard, and he couldn't keep hold of it. The ball fell out to Salah following up, and he slotted it home for 1-0. On looking at the video, Salah was just offside. So a good break for Liverpool. 32 minutes, Bournemouth lacking a final pass in attack. And the wet conditions were also affecting the game somewhat. And we arrived at the break with Liverpool 1-up. Into the second half then, and within 2 minutes, Salah had got his second, a jinking run. The defenders were afraid to tackle him, and eventually he tucked it in the corner wide of Begovic. After 52 minutes, there was a chance for King at the other end after a cross from the left. But Alisson managed to push the ball to safety. King did fall over, but no penalty. On 61 minutes then, Bournemouth trying to quicken their raids on goal, but too many final pass errors. Liverpool looking in control. Okay, so Keita was replaced by Lallana on 65 minutes. I'd still make him the man of the match. Mane also came on, and he met a cross from Robertson, and it went in off the defender Cook on 67 minutes. So that meant it was 3-0 to Liverpool. On 70 minutes, Stanislas, from a free kick, tested Alisson, who handled it reasonably easily. And then finally, on 76 minutes, Salah, who had been causing havoc throughout the match, got his hat-trick goal, an individual piece of brilliance where he managed to get ahead of the defender. Then he went round the goalkeeper twice and then nonchalantly flicked it in the corner of the net with two defenders stranded on the line. It was absolutely fantastic. So that was it. Bournemouth really were put to the sword. It was an impressive display by Liverpool ahead of their Champions League showdown with Napoli on Tuesday, a game which they need to win to qualify. But they were very satisfied with this 4-0 demolition of Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. So to the top of the table clash at Stamford Bridge. Manchester City in town. The team news, well, Luis and Pedro were back after missing the midweek game, and Sterling was back for City. Early on, City in charge. First chance for Sterling, rather tame shot though. And Sani was already causing panic in the defence. Sterling set up a chance for Sani, but a late block saw it go over the bar. City continued to dominate, but Chelsea were defending relentlessly, and they were rewarded for this stubbornness as we approached half time. Kante hit home after a good work from Willian, who pulled the ball back from the byline. It was in fact Chelsea's first shot on target, but they weren't worried about that. They went in 1-0 up. After the break, Chelsea started to look more assured. William was fouled by Fernandinho just outside the box, and he forced a really good save from Edison. On 52 minutes, another break by Chelsea, but a rather tame finish. Barkley was on by now. And then on 78 minutes, City having done very little in the second half, on 78 minutes, Luis headed home from a corner with Edison rooted to the spot. 2 up now and really confident. Kepa forced a great save from Jesus, but City had to be content with their first defeat of the season. It's a strange sort of game, really. So City dominating for the first 45 minutes, then getting caught in the second half, really failing to raise their game. I don't think it's too much to worry about, but it really hots up the championship race. So to Old Trafford then, Manchester United at home to the bottom club Fulham. Mata, Lingard and Rashford were up front for the Reds. No Pogba, he's still languishing on the bench, and Lukaku was in as well. Fulham had Schürrle back after his injury, but right from the gun, United were putting their foot forward and certainly in charge. And on 13 minutes, Young on the left, captain for the day, cut in from the left and struck a great shot, a cross goal into the right corner. 1-0 the Red Devils. 28 minutes, they doubled their lead. A neat move with Lukaku and Rashford linking up well, and finally to Mata, who converted with a nice shot in the corner. Rashford, who was looking really good, he had a 30-yard strike pushed away by Rico. But on 42 minutes, United got their third. This time, Lukaku ending his goal drought with another slick move. He was on the penalty box to slot it home. So 3-0 at the break, and the Red Devils looking well in charge. Okay, into the second half, and Herrera then gave away a penalty. Kamara stepped up on 62 minutes to make it 3-1. Was there going to be a Fulham 5 back? Well, it never really happened. And on 82 minutes, a cracking shot from Rashford after he came in from the left, screamed into the net, and United had their 4th. I was very impressed by Bat Dallo. The second time I've seen him at right back, he's one for the future. Okay, it was only Fulham, but Mourinho delighted, and United get their first 4-goal haul of the season. So to the London Stadium, and Crystal Palace were the visitors. No Arnautovic for West Ham, he had a slight knock, but early chances for Hernandez. Hennessy blocked that effort. But it was Palace on 6 minutes. MacArthur anticipating a Tompkins header, and poked the ball just wide of Fabianski. So Palace with the early lead. Milosevic then hit the bar on the stroke of half time, but West Ham came out looking all business in the second half, and on 48 minutes, Snodgrass, after a very neat build-up, hit a great left foot strike in the corner. Anderson and Hernandez were linking well again together. Carroll came on as sub, and then Anderson effort was palmed out by Hennessy from a free kick. But Hernandez was following up quickly, and he whacked the ball home to put West Ham in front on 62 minutes. A few minutes later, a lovely goal curled in by Anderson made it 3, and West Ham looked in the comfort zone. But 76 minutes, Slopp's header found the corner, and so the deficit was reduced to 3-2. The Hammers hung on for another win, things looking up for Pellegrini. So, to the King Power Stadium, and Spurs were in town. Pochettino left Kane and Eriksen on the bench in view of their midweek trip to the Nou Camp. Spurs need to beat Barcelona to progress in the Champions League. Leicester was still without Vardy, still a problem with his hamstring. Early pressure from the Foxes, but Spurs responded with some good movement, but neither team seemed to be able to create any clear-cut chances. And then, in added time in the first half, Son Heung-min hit a blockbuster which whizzed into the right-hand corner of Schmeichel's goal, and Spurs wall one up. Into the second half, and Spurs took command. On 58 minutes, a lovely chip from Son to the far post, and great anticipation from Dele Alli, and he headed wide of Schmeichel, and that made it 2-0 for Spurs. The rest of the game rather petered out. Spurs never looked in any trouble really, and a well-deserved win for them, 2-0. To the Emirates, Huddersfield visiting Arsenal. Now, Arsenal had unluckily had that draw at Old Trafford. They found it pretty hard work against a resolute Huddersfield defence. They were also without Holding. He's got a cruciate ligament injury, and he could be out for some time. Emery put Aubameyang and Lacazette together, but they seemed somewhat isolated, and they both missed early chances. Then Lacazette also had a goal disallowed, but he was offside. On the 44th minute, a chance for Huddersfield with Pritchard's effort just sailing over. So it was goalless at the break. Then Torreira started to impose himself. He'd had a light strike at the end of the first half, and on 83 minutes, following some Arsenal pressure, with his back to the goal, he scissor kicked the ball into the net to break the deadlock. Arsenal, well, they seem to have a problem with their attacking players. 3 players were cautioned for diving. However, although the Terriers' performance was resolute, the Gunners hung on to take the match by a single goal. To Cardiff, and Southampton were in town. Now, this was the first appearance by their new coach at Hazin Talal. Austin was in from the start, and he had an early chance, and he put it wide. Cardiff's Murphy had a shot, and to be honest, it wasn't that good on the eye. The first half was bereft of chances, and we went into the break at a goalless. It took until the 74th minute when Patterson squeezed the ball past kept the keeper after a comedy of errors in Saints' defence. Morrison should have added a second for Cardiff, and then late on, Southampton had a penalty shout, which was denied. Cardiff, another home win. They're starting to look very tough to beat at their own stadium, and Warnock was extremely happy. The Southampton coach has got lots of work to do. To Turf Moor, Burnley at home to Brighton. Both of these fixtures last season ended goalless, so it was with some trepidation that we expected a similar sort of match today. An early shot from Brady was saved by Ryan. It took until the 40th minute for the first real clear-cut chance, and Cook's strike got a slight defection of his own man Tarkowski, and it went past Ryan for Burnley to get the opening goal. Into the second half, Burnley were on the front foot most of it and went close for a second goal. But then as full-time approached, Brighton had their chances. On 83, Murray. A Murray cross, and Le Carrier missed a sitter with his head, which should have meant it was 1-1. As we went into added time, Burnley were clearly hanging on, and they were glad to get over the line. A much needed win for Dyche. The solitary game on Sunday was Newcastle at home to Wolves. Now, there was no Kennedy, he was on the bench for Newcastle, and Shelvey has been absent of late, not quite sure why. Anyway, we got off to a quick start. Rondon had a snapshot on his first run at goal, which was saved by Patricio. And on 16 minutes, Giotto collected a cross on his chest, great anticipation, and his volley went wide of Dubrovka to put Wolves 1-up, and it was definitely not offside. But Newcastle responded very quickly, and from a free kick, Rondon hits the bar. There's a frantic clearance by the Wolves defence. It goes out to the right, and Rondon picked up the ball, fired in a beautiful cross, and Perez was there to head it in to the corner. So 1-1. That was the score at the break, and into the second half, Jedlin, in his efforts to pull back Jota, who was clean through, was given a red card. So Newcastle on the back foot with only 10. Jimenez on from the bench rattled the crossbar on 75 minutes, and on 80 minutes a tremendous save from Dubrovka from an effort by Doherty. But it was that man Doherty on 94 minutes who headed in injury time after a Jota shot was pushed away by the keeper. So amazingly, Wolves had got another win under their belt, and Nino Santo was absolutely jubilant. So Wolves take it 2-1. So to the Monday night match at Goodison Park. Watford were the visitors. Exciting game from the highlights I saw. On 14 minutes, Gomez was put through on the right by Walcott, and he clipped the ball into the centre. Richarlison was on hand, and he made it 1-0 with a clinical finish. Walcott was offside in the build-up, so a bit unlucky really, the Hornets. On 42 minutes, a half chance for Sigurdsson was blocked, and the ball went wide. Into the second half now, and Pereira, free kick just wide on 54 minutes. On 62, however, Ferreira connected with a neat pullback and hit the upright. but it rebounded back to Coleman, and it hit him and bounced back into the net. So that was 1-1, a deserved equaliser for Watford. And 2 minutes later, they went one better. Decorah met a Feo cross, and his header was too powerful for Pickford, and Watford were 2-1 up. Another 2 minutes and a push in the box led to an Everton penalty, but Sigurdsson's effort was saved. Watford looked like they were hanging on for a great victory, but in the 6th minute of added time, a free kick from outside the box, and Digny's left foot effort went in the corner, and Everton had snatched a draw. So that's it for week 16, which leaves a new leader at the top of the league. Liverpool ahead of Man City by 1 point. Chelsea solid into 3rd now, and Everton and Arsenal chasing. 6th place now for the Red Devils. Okay, that's your lot.